This conversation is with Becky McManus. There's not a whole lot you're going to find on what I would call Miss Becky. If you look on the internet, there's not a whole lot there to be found. However, Miss Becky's a very important person in my life. She has run the Rocky Mountain Lodge in southern Colorado, near where we have a family cabin, for as long as I can remember. And this is her last year to run it. She's officially retiring and building a home with her husband in Mississippi. Miss Becky's special to me. She's special to my family. She's very special to my boys. We'll miss the time that we get to spend with her in the lodge every summer. She will come back, though not in the same capacity she was working there before, and we cover a ton of ground in this episode. Frankly, I don't even remember what all we talked about. I just remember leaving the conversation going, God, that was a good one. So this is somebody that's very, very important to me in my life. This is Miss Becky McManus.
Shall I start talking different?
So the way that I work, Becky, I don't do interviews. I don't like interviewing people because I don't like the whole start at 1, go to 2, go to 3. That to me is not as fun of a conversation.
Okay.
I would have the same conversation with you over coffee, sitting at your cabin or at the lodge that we would have here.
Okay.
So that's my intention for this.
Okay.
We don't have any time limit. There's no constraints to it. The one thing I am going to do, a lot of the conversations that we have are recorded on camera, but the ones where we don't record on camera, I like to just show sort of the
where you're
context of
at,
where we are. So
how
here we
cool
are in
is
the
that?
cabin. And then I'll have the team just edit this into the video so people can see who you are, and then they can listen.
You mean there's people going to listen to this?
All like 30 of them so far.
Okay.
It's not.
We could do 30.
I know a lot of people that do this for. They try to make a living off of it, and I don't really have designs on doing that. I like just having conversations with people, and if I can record them, great. Well, I like you. You've been a big part of my life.
I likewise, but I'm really not real interesting.
Everybody that I've interviewed that I have felt like has been the most interesting people would all have that to say about themselves. Oh. Scoot up to that mic so I can get you.
Okay.
You don't have to try to be interesting because you're interesting to me to begin with.
I have done some.
You've done some interesting stuff.
I have done some fun stuff.
Okay, so why don't you explain in as much detail as you want where we're sitting and why?
That's easy.
Okay.
My mother's best friend was Doris Aldridge, who is the half-sister to B. Forrester that owns that wonderful place. And Doris asked her if she would like to come to the mountains. She worried that Mother wasn't that type of person. She was living in Albuquerque. She was raised on a farm in Kansas, so she was that kind of person. And brought her up here. And Mama, that was in probably 77. And then Mom came home and got us kids and said, you got to come. And we began.
1977.
1977.
So you're 2 years short of 50 years of coming up here.
That's exactly right.
What makes this year significant?
Well, Richard can't come here anymore. And
your husband.
And we still love each other. I got to quit saying I just like him. We still love each other. And we're building at home, and it's just time to... 22 years I've done in the store, so it's a long time to do that. And I've having arthritis issues myself, and got real sick last year. And when I got real sick, and Richard had to stay here a whole month, while I went back and forth to the hospital in Colorado Springs. My life changed. Not thinking that I don't love my husband, but it was so easy for me. Bye, Richard. Here I come. I'm just going to be here. He came all the time. He used to work here, work at the lodge too with me.
I didn't know that.
He did, but he helped to clean cabins. Men don't do that. Well, not my man.
Yeah.
He's 79, so he doesn't do what was it well fit for him. But he loved to fish, but he could still just only fish so much. 6 months. Now I stay 7 months That's a long wait.
7
time.
months.
7 months out of the year, and then it's time to go home. I come about the third week in April and go home about the 10th or so of November. So that's a long time.
That's a long time.
Yeah. The Turkey Federation, I worked for them for about 8 years, and we used to bring a group of women up here and teach them how to hunt and fish. We brought 53 women one year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is was it National
Wild
Turkey
Turkey Federation.
How did you get involved in that? It was one of the things I did want to talk to you about.
You need to, if you're not a part of it, you need to be a part of it. They've got it's called the WITO, Women in the Outdoors.
Okay.
And they started, I was a regional director for a certain area, and I got to go around and teach women how to hunt and to fish and to shoot and anything. But Richard and I, for our honeymoon, went bass fishing. I should have known 43 years ago that I was going to be in the wild. We grew up, Carl and I were very outdoor people, but you don't marry somebody like Richard and not shoot or hunt or whatever. Well, I learned that I loved it. I've always fished, and Carl and I, my brother, always quail hunted in Kansas. We were born and raised in Wichita, Kansas, so we always hunted, but not like this. Not where you get in the woods and pattern the deer and sit up against a tree and all of that.
Yeah.
But then I had to start doing a pull and a bow and arrow. So I went to a recurve. I couldn't do the longbow, so I went to a recurve. And then I got breast cancer, and I couldn't do a recurve any longer, so I went to one with training wheels, a compound.
A compound.
And that's when I got hooked on outdoors, because we used to go around and do target shoots, and we teach women how to hunt, shoot after we'd go through and we'd shoot animals. You know, the targets flip up and you have to shoot an elk or a deer or a fox or a wolf. And I said, this is just really cool.
How old were you when you first got into it?
Richard, I've been married 43. I'm 72, so probably Carl and I were doing this when I was like 12 or 13. I had a little 410 shotgun. I thought that was a big gun. It's not, but it was back then. And that's what I started on, was a 410 and kicking up quail. Carl and I would quick up the quail and shoot them. It became, and I rather bird hunt than elk hunt or deer hunt. I love the birds.
Yeah.
And turkey hunting is my favorite.
Turkey's kind of the pinnacle of bird hunting. If you talk to turkey hunters, they would say it's the pinnacle.
They're a different breed too.
Yeah.
They really are. So my life just became that. And then when I started working for the National Turkey Federation, I met people all over the United States and got free hunts, turkey hunts everywhere. I wanted to go, how do you just not do that? We would hunt out here. Carl and Mother lived in Pagosa. So Rich and I would come out here and I did a turkey event out here too. It just, there goes a deer just running across there.
The amount of mule deer this year is unbelievable.
Yeah, we've got a great herd. I don't know, but it's wonderful to see.
This is the first time I've recorded a podcast where a deer ran by in the background.
Well,
so
that's even
perfect.
better.
It's very authentic.
But anyway, that led me to here all those years ago, because we came to fish always. We'd spend 1 week, and then it went to 2 weeks, and then it went to longer. And then I got an opportunity to come and work, and it fit.
How did you meet the Brummels?
Coming here.
The folks
they
that own
owned
the
it.
lodge.
They bought Rocky Mountain Lodge in 1976 and opened it in 77.
Okay.
And they still, back then, they just mailed you the keys, and you paid over through the mail, and you just came up and locked it up, and they'd come up on the weekends and clean and go back. They were still both teaching, and the kids were little.
You say opened it. What was it before? There was a dude ranch at one point.
Barlow. It was the Barlow Ranch. It was the Webster Trout Lodge. It was the Burtons owned it. The Stapps owned it. The Burt family is who Jerry actually bought it from, and the Stapps had it before the Burtons. There were a couple other people that had it, but not for Jerry's the longest owner on record. But in the we got pictures over at the office that you'd be interested in the 1920s. When it was the Barlow Dude Ranch, and then the Webster Trout Lodge was the 1940s. And people came up here to do this, to fish. Back then, you could keep as many as you wanted, but at the lodge, they would actually take a group of people up Rubelet, and they'd come back down, and they'd have all of your food ready for you, because there were the cabins, no bathrooms, no kitchens. It was just those little rooms that are still standing.
Yeah.
And that's what the people stayed in.
1976. So next year, the Brummels will have owned the lodge for 50 years.
Exactly right.
And I think you had mentioned that it's right at 100 years since that building has been built.
Exactly right.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, and your families saw this back when they were kids. Your dad, your uncles. Look where they grew up, and then they're all still right here. Why are they still here?
This has as much a feeling to home as home does.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, we've got that picture in the lodge, that big old fish.
The one that Steve helped catch.
Yep, and a Fortenberry.
Yeah.
They all own cabins now. Well, duh.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a rocket science
This is
to
a
figure it
place
out.
that gets in your blood the first time you come up here. I have yet to bring somebody up here, and I've probably brought a dozen people up in 40 years of coming here. I've yet to bring somebody up here that didn't ask me later to keep an eye out in case there's a cabin that comes up for sale. And
you don't. I didn't have to list mine. I sold my cabin. B and Peggy may have a little bit more trouble. They may have to list theirs.
Yeah.
It's $800,000, but it's on the river. I mean, it actually has riverfront, and it was two original old cabins, as old as Randy Tower's first cabin. That was the Pollock cabin way back in the 1940s. They will have theirs next year. 70 years they've owned that place, and then they joined the two little ranch cabins, and it's 2-story, and it's a beautiful place. But 4.5 acres on this river.
4.5 acres. That's cool.
On the riverfront. You just don't find it.
Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah, well, like your grandparents do.
One of my favorite memories coming up here was, whatever it was, 2 or 3 years ago when I brought RV up for what he says is his last time, though I still hold out hope I'm going to get him back up here.
Too.
But we had 2 different long sit-downs where we recorded video and audio. It's the first thing I ever did on video or audio.
Oh,
and it was sort of the reason to get him back up here was he has told me for my entire life, he's a storyteller, so he tells all these stories of the cabin and coming up here with B and buying the lot and building the original cabin. Mm-hmm. And I kept telling him, hey, I need you to write those stories down. Like, we need to have those things recorded
before
somewhere.
He's gone.
And he'd walk around the cabin and he'd point out things and be able to tell you, this is where this came from and this is how old we were when we bought it. And there's so many stories baked into here that I was pestering him for a decade to write those stories down.
Yeah.
And we finally got to the point where he said, Tanner, I'm just not much of a writer. It's going to be a hard thing for me to do. Maybe I can just tell the stories to you and you can write them down. And I said, well, I know some people that do recording stuff. Why don't I just borrow some equipment and we'll record it? And better yet, why don't we just go do it at the cabin? That way you can tell the stories in the place that you're telling the stories about.
This brings them all back where you might forget something that you really want to tell.
Exactly
right. And then you see the old bridge.
That's right.
And that's all we ever walked over was the old bridge. And you wouldn't do it now. We had a man actually go through it this year.
Really?
Yeah, he had turned around to talk to his grandchildren and boom.
Went through it.
Sure did.
I wonder how much longer they'll let people walk over it.
It actually is not supposed to be walked over. It's at your own peril, but and it was to this guy. He was a big man, and he went all the way up to his armpits.
Oof. There's not much left of it.
No, there isn't.
Yeah.
But that's where we always fished, and then of course we fished at the new bridge because they stocked it still back then. We stock there a couple of times, maybe 3 times a year, but just to look at the old one makes me think of just hanging our legs over, and just fish and fish and fish, and you could keep as many as you wanted to keep. It didn't matter back then. There's people fishing now.
Well, bringing RV back up here, like I said, it was one of my favorite memories of the cabin because you got to see him go back through his kind of mental Rolodex of people that were involved and all the stories of coming up here and who helped build the cabin and how many years it took to get it all put together. It was really neat. And we sat there in the living room for one recording, and the intention was I would sit there and I'd ask him questions and just give him prompts to kind of coach him through it. And we sat down and I set up the cameras and I set up a little audio recorder like that one, and I hit record, and he talked for an hour and a half straight.
He could talk.
It was incredible.
He can talk. Yes,
it was
he can.
incredible. And then I think it was the next night or maybe 2 nights later, we sat in his little study there in adjacent room, and he did another 90 minutes with my brother and I. And the first one was the story of the cabin, and the second one was the story of the things in the cabin.
Oh my gosh.
It was really a fun, and he came up with that idea. He said, I've got to separate it. I've got to do one story on the cabin and one story
Well, he's
on
an alumni. He's kind of mindset that way.
He very much has a mindset.
He really is.
Like a legacy mindset.
Well, Billy, I never wanted to sing at church. I just wanted to sit by her and listen to her sing. You know, she'll always be remembered for that.
Yeah.
She'll never be forgotten for just singing at country church up here.
Yeah. You know, that's how they met.
No.
You ever heard that story? How
No.
B and RV met?
No.
So this is, true to form with RV. He worked at a dude ranch when he was young, and he saved all the money that he earned that summer and bought a guitar with it. So this would have been when he was in college. So he bought this guitar, and he would go and he would sit in the quad at what was Southwest Texas University or Southwest Texas State University. Now it's Texas State University. But he would sit there in the student area in the quad and just play the guitar. And
my gosh.
One day he was doing that, and the head of the drama department came up to him and he said, I understand that you've got a guitar. Would you be willing to let us borrow it for a production we're putting on? We need a guitar. And he said, well, I'm a little, I've got misgivings about loaning you the guitar, but why don't I just try out for the lead? And if I can be good for the part, then I'll play the guitar and be the lead. And it was,
Oh my gosh.
I think it's not called Oklahoma. It's called something else. Something with lilacs in the title. There Go the Lilacs or something like that.
Yeah.
I forget what it's.
Bringing a memory, but
It's the story of Oklahoma, what was turned
Yes.
into Oklahoma, the Rodgers and Hammerstein movie. So he gets the part, and he goes through all of the rehearsals and everything, and then the night of the dress rehearsal, when they're going to have all of the actors and the cast there, and they're going to have all of the choir there, he goes in to do the opening number, and the lights come up, on the choir, and he can see a blonde girl in the choir.
oh my gosh.
And he misses his cue, and they have to stop the song, and they have to start it over. And so he sings through the first song, and then they get to a intermission or a pause, and he goes up and he introduces himself to her, and that was it.
Oh my gosh.
Still has that guitar too.
Does he really?
He does.
Does he ever play anymore or
He
anything?
doesn't play it. I have tried to nudge him to play it again. He doesn't think he has the finger dexterity to do it.
Maybe, I don't know, but that kind of stays with you. It's like riding a bike.
Yeah. That guitar has a precious place in our family
I
because
bet
that's
it does,
the artifact
too.
of our family.
Yeah, who gets it? Yeah. Where does it sit right now?
I have told my uncles and my dad that I don't care who gets it. It can sit in a game room somewhere on a shelf for all I care, but it just has to stay in the family.
Oh, I can't imagine they would do anything else
No.
with it.
No.
They don't want that memory gone either.
Uh-uh.
Well, Richard and I been married 43 years. I was working for the National Wild Turkey Federation, and I had to go to Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
That's where you're from, right, Mississippi?
Uh-huh. No, I'm actually a Kansas girl.
That's right, from
Wichita,
Kansas.
That I married into Mississippi.
Married into Mississippi.
And when my first husband died, I stayed in, it was close to Hattiesburg.
Okay.
And I was the manager of a Wendy's old-fashioned hamburgers.
Mm.
And Richard came through the drive-through window, and it was about 2 hours, and we had a date already.
Really?
It was.
Picked you up in the drive-through window.
He
of
sure
Wendy's.
did.
That's great.
Yeah, it would, and we've been together ever since. Ever since then, and he comes along. He was one of the instructors at Women in the Outdoors for teaching, because we're both NRA instructors. So he's very talented at it, because he's just a real calm person. I'm not. I'm a wired type person, but not Richard. He just is calm. How does God put two different people like that together? But he did.
On purpose.
Yeah, he does. He really does.
Yeah.
So he's been a major part of all of this too. We had been coming here, but not just right after. He didn't get to see the first part of it, because we married in '82, and we'd already been coming in '77. So,
I see.
I think it was '82.
What's it like spending that time apart in the summers?
Yeah.
That can't be.
No, he used to come. He actually worked he did work.
Yeah.
And then he would come, but he said, Becky, I just can't fish that long. So he started staying home more. And then I started running. I was just cleaning cabins when I first started.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. So I didn't have responsibilities. It was easy to just, I'm going home the 1st of October.
Yeah.
Then the responsibility came, and then you can't go home. You stay longer and longer, and life changes at home, and it's just time. It's just time to go home.
Yeah.
That's really all there is to it.
Finding out that you were retiring was bittersweet's probably the right term, but it was more bitter than sweet, because that's, that lodge for me, you're the person that's been there the longest.
Don't you remember Carl?
I do remember Carl.
Well,
oh, yeah.
Except he was a little grumpy.
I remember Carl very well.
Yeah, he was a little grumpy.
I remember Carl and you both talking about how I wasn't catching fish because I wasn't holding my mouth right.
Yeah, that's Carl. Yeah. He always go like this. Oh, that's Carl.
Yeah.
It still is Carl. He spent a whole month up here this year.
Did he?
Yeah. He had just had shoulder surgery, and we were able to fish. And then he went to Wyoming and Montana. When mother passed, and he moved back to where she was from. Now he just travels and fishes. He's going to Arkansas next week.
Good for him.
Yeah, so he can fish now, and he needed to. He took great care of Mom, but he was by himself. Mom was by herself, so it made sense. I'm still the only married sibling. So
you have other siblings too?
I have 2 other sisters, and then Carl. He's
Okay.
the baby.
He's the baby.
Yeah, and I'm the baby girl. So there's 2 ahead of us, but I'm the only married one. So
Where are the other 2 now?
Tennessee.
Tennessee, both of them.
Both of them are in Tennessee.
Okay.
And Carl's in Kansas, back in Kansas again.
So you're headed from here back to Mississippi.
I am.
And you have big plans when you get back. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I don't know what made us do it. Richard manages a 5,000-acre deer camp, and they provide a home for us. So we had sold our place and just kicked into the nice brick home, real long, 3-bedroom, all that. Plenty company come. And I don't know, it just got to where, well, he's 79 and he's ready to retire. So we found a little over 20 acres of land with no one around it, and beautiful trees and creek and hills. And Richard just said, we're going to build our own cabin. And so he started watching YouTube.
Yeah.
He is a YouTube guru. At 79, he really is a YouTube guru. But he can build a cabin, and we're felling the trees, we're splitting the logs, we're peeling them, we're doing it all.
You're doing the whole thing.
Yeah, there won't be any pretty walls on that. There'll be timber.
Yeah.
And that's just, I'm looking as forward to it as he is.
When does the felling process start?
He's already felling trees.
He's already felling trees.
Yeah, so I can peel when I get home.
Oh, how nice of him
Yeah.
to get them ready to be peeled.
I said, honey, at my age, they got to come up off the ground. There's no more of this bending over. But
Yeah.
he still does a full garden.
Does he?
And puts it up himself, because I'm here.
Right. Yeah, no help.
He does the canning, but he grew up that way. His folks were sharecroppers in Mississippi back in long time ago, and so he grew up canning and the whole, and he still does it, and he's very good at it. So I got another whole life to start, looking forward to.
You got a big project ahead.
Yeah, and I'm excited.
What possessed him or you to want to build your own cabin from scratch? I understand it, but I'm curious to know.
Coming here.
Really?
Yeah, that probably started it, because it was after that he's always looked. We started buying books at Christmas for presents of how to build your own cabin, all of that, and now because of YouTube, he doesn't. I don't have to buy books anymore.
Yeah,
he can just he'll do a. He's not a well-educated person as far as degrees and things, but he has the most common sense. And he's very intelligent about trees and wildlife and rocks, whatever.
Yeah, geology.
Yes, he's very good at all that. And if he's interested in something, he retains every bit of it.
Yeah, that's worth so much more than book smarts.
Yeah. You don't want him to plumb your house, ever. You don't want him to work on your car. But take me to the woods. And he's your man. And he really did that. When we taught women, when we were steadily training women how to shoot, we'd actually rather teach women than men. Men have worse habits, I guess, because they've always shot, probably. But women are calm. They listen to every word you say. Do you know very many men you could tell them how to shoot? Or
I have had a handful of men that I have put a gun in their hands for the first time. But I'm pretty particular about who I do that with.
Yeah, I bet.
Because there's the safety element to sort of get over, and the ego element, especially if you're talking to somebody who's a little older in years.
Yeah.
And that ego gets involved, and they don't want to be told what to do or be a rookie at something for the first time.
Never.
Yeah, I try to avoid those where I can.
It's like me going bass fishing for my honeymoon. Really? Rod? Reel? And we fished, but we didn't fish that way. You took a cane. And you don't have to do all this fly fishing stuff. And if you don't fly fish in my family, you're not a fishing person.
Really?
Yeah. Look at Carl.
Yeah.
Richard actually taught Carl how to fly fish.
Really?
And Carl took it to a degree that is beautiful. He's just you see all these fly fishing people do the long poles, and it just goes out there just straight, and it goes like 50 yards or whatever. That's a little carried away. But Carl is that, and he ties his own flies. Richard ties his own flies. But Carl does it because he just liked it.
Yeah.
He actually worked for Boeing. He actually retired from Boeing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did all that neat stuff, but he was educated to do what he did there. But the fly
fishing is such an art for him, and when you see somebody that's good at it, it's so effortless.
That's Carl.
It's a beautiful.
It is.
It's a beautiful sport.
It is, and I am just not. Mine's not real beautiful, although I've taught women how to. But thank goodness they didn't know I wasn't good at it wasn't beautiful in my presentation.
Yeah, it's great to teach when somebody doesn't know any better.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, what do you on the firearm side? What do you teach? Like a concealed handgun?
No. We strictly in Mississippi. You don't have to have a license to carry. For now, anyway.
You don't in Texas either.
Yay. Okay. We actually prefer that more. We don't like people to get in our business. But we just saw, I actually got shot at going home from church, from choir practice. We lived way out in the country. And some people black guys were following me in a vehicle. And I always have a gun. I've always had a gun right next to me. Coming because it's dark, 9 o'clock at night from a Southern Baptist church going home, and these guys started coming around me, harassing me, and I shot out my window.
Oh my gosh!
They were serious. I was in trouble, and I can remember getting out at the front door. Richard could hear the shooting coming down the road. Met me at the gate, and the guys, of course, streamed on when they saw another person. And that's when we said, we got to get serious about this. So I didn't want anybody else to go through that. We just started teaching we always taught, but we never had gotten serious about actually getting certified and all that.
Yeah.
And it's been a great thing. Women are good shots. They really are.
Is that something you'll continue to do?
Always.
Really?
Yeah, we still shoot. Yeah, we
Yeah.
still do. We competed in archery and loved it. Richard always shot a longbow because he's a traditional person. And like I told you, I had to go to training wheels to compound bow. But it was fun competing because of the people we met when you competed. They're good people,
Yeah.
Tanner. It is a different breed. I have no problem with technical people and well-educated people and rich people. Or I've met a lot of those when I worked for the Turkey Federation. But everybody needs to have a friend that they can do something with. Do you go off by yourself often? Well, I know this is a little strange for you.
This is a little strange for me. I'm not as comfortable by myself as I am with people. I'm very much a people person.
Ah.
I have been since I was a kid. Both my boys are people.
Yes, they are.
I have to push myself to go do something solo, but I find real value in it after the fact.
Don't you feel great?
I do.
When you've made the accomplishment anyway.
Right.
Whether you were the top person or the middle person, but you've accomplished something that you did on your own, and I find that especially in shooting and competing. When we did archery, it's rewarding. They had special, class for women. Of course, you don't compete with the men you did back then. I don't know if they do anymore or not, but it was always in August, so I couldn't be here. So you start having to give up some things.
Did you play any sports when you were younger?
Never. I'm
Never.
too short.
There's short people sports.
Not for Becky.
No,
Maybe
not for
touch
Miss
football, but I just never was good at it.
Yeah.
I was a cheerleader and a twirler.
I got you.
There was my spot.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, that's the sport element. I'm much more of a team sport guy than I am a solo sport guy. I don't like golf. I'm not a big tennis person.
I've never hit a ball. With baseball, now I love softball. I played softball, so I
Sure.
did do that on a church team. But I never played it in school because I was a cheerleader.
It's the solo endeavors I've never been as much into, though I'm finding value in them as I get older.
Do you like to track or hike or?
I like to hike. I don't like it as much by myself.
Have you ever thought of doing the Continental Divide that they do through here?
I've thought of it.
Yeah,
But I've thought of doing it with my brother.
Samuel?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would love that.
He is my reason to be able to go and do adventurous stuff like that. He's going to always be my backpacking buddy, because if I'm by myself, selling Ashton and the family on me going off by myself, that's a hard sell.
It is.
But if I've got a Green Beret medic with me, it's a little bit easier a little bit easier
I
case
miss
to
seeing
make.
Samuel too.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm glad he's happy. Glad he's good.
Yeah.
Well, and you too. I mean, you boys were just part of. They came into the store.
Yeah. It's going to be hard coming into the store and not seeing you there.
Well, and I hope everybody enjoy. Jennifer, I don't know if you've met her. She cleans for us.
I'm sure I have.
She will work the store some.
Okay.
Carla hates the store.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she.
She didn't like the people element of it.
That's not Carla.
Yeah.
It's just not Carla.
I get it.
If somebody comes in and wants to talk fishing and hunting, there you go.
Yeah.
But she is not she's a nice person, very nice, but she just doesn't care for she wants to do something, and you get stuck in that store.
Yeah. So will they have to bring in other people to work the store?
Doubtful. They're hoping that Jennifer can do 3 or 4 days, but they still got, and Phil hates the store too. He doesn't care. They don't hate it. That's too harsh of a word.
It's not his preference.
No. There's another lady I'd like to see them do it with. Do you know Danny, the preacher, or Danny Williams, our preacher? His wife, Kay. They used to guide fishing.
Oh, really?
Yes, at Fox Creek. What a and she's very personable, loves people. They're good Christian people. She'd be perfect at it. Or Marilyn would be perfect, but Marilyn doesn't, Johnny Young's wife.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want to, no one wants to do the store.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, having to come up here and work would be a different paradigm than coming up here for.
Well, in the summer,
vacation
you
time.
don't get the time off to go. You can go fishing at night. but Carl and I used to go all the way to Platoro and fish at Mixed Lake when I was cleaning cabins. We'd get up there about Carl about 45 minutes. It didn't take him long to do that.
Yeah.
And we could fish and bring them home. But those days. That's hard to do for me now to do it. It's not that I don't want to, but I actually enjoy going home, and I love sitting in my cabin. Oh, Tanner, I do. I'll miss it.
Yeah.
I really will miss it, but I'm going to have one.
Will you come back?
Oh, yeah. Not next year. I probably will spend it peeling logs and taking care of Richard, and then come back after that. I need to be away and motivate.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Taking a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
Kind of cleaning the palate a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Not that they would ask me to come back to work, because I might say no, but this gives them an opportunity to get their feet wet and settled, which they need to have a no Becky for a while. You really do. It's like Carl. I got sick of hearing, where's Carl?
Where's Carl?
Where's Carl? Well, Phil and all them were going, where's Becky? Where's Becky?
Yeah.
Oh, they're not. They're going to get tired of it.
Yeah.
As much as they love me, you get tired of that.
There will be people that will replace the function of Miss Becky in the lodge, but there won't be people that replace the
and that's nice to hear. And
culture.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Because I do love what I do.
I haven't told my boys yet.
Oh, no.
I haven't figured out how to tell them, because they're going to ask,
I've got
where's Miss Becky?
Glenda and Carly Perry. The kids called just crying. Their names are Dawson and Hayden. And I've just fell in love with them like the boys. They're special kids. And they just are really upset with me bad. I had to buy presents. So give them the candy immediately.
I will, as soon as
before
I get home.
you tell them.
And I'll tell them who it's from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll just have to keep in touch.
Yeah.
That way I can see the boys.
Yeah.
And they can see me.
Do you ever have a reason to come to Texas?
No, I haven't. It may change. Peggy, Belle, and B, they live together in Fiddle.
Amarillo?
No.
Lubbock?
No. What in the world is the name of that? It doesn't matter. But anyway, Peggy's real sick. She's 90 years old, and she's just had a brain bleed. I don't know what's going to happen to her, but they're the reason that my family ever came. And so it's close to Abilene. What is the name? It doesn't matter. But
Sweetwater?
No. I've come through Texas, but I split off at about Marshall or Tyler, Texas, and come up 69. So I don't know that I'll ever do Dallas again. We had to bring a horse. Richard and I used to, we had Arabians, and we used to compete on, that was almost our first date. We went honeymooning with a bass fish, and then we started doing endurance riding.
Endurance riding?
Richard was training horses when we met.
What is endurance riding?
It's a 25-mile ride or a 50-mile ride.
Huh.
And they care more for the horses than they do for... You have vets that stop, that are there about every 10 miles to check the horses and make sure they're in good shape. They don't check you. They check the horses.
Yeah.
But it is fun. It's a lot of fun to do. And
I'll
we
bet
had
it is.
Arabians, and we started... That was one of our first dates, was going on an endurance ride. I'm not a big horse person. I am now, after all these years, and we have horses, but it was fun. But that's what he was doing, training horses and breaking them when we met.
You know, my great-grandmother, RV's mom, raised Arabian horses.
Oh, they are a magnificent breed.
And she
temperamental,
taught
but
English
Did she?
dressage or something?
Yeah, I don't-
some form of English riding.
I'm just getting a saddle.
Yeah. I dated a girl in high school who was an English rider. She took a lot of lessons and did some competitions.
So she posted and all.
Yes, and it was when my great-grandmother, who I called grandmother, was still alive, but she could barely see. And there was one time that I had her show up when Kristen was going to ride, and she could see her posture, and she could see how she rode the horse, and she still had a sense of it.
Yeah, that Richard said he doesn't ride anymore. He actually broke his pelvis. a lot of years now, but it kind of stopped the endurance riding that we used to do, and in the training. But we still have to have horses. You just don't get rid of them.
You have some in Mississippi?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
do?
I've got a Tennessee Walker. I love. She is smooth. We always had quarter horses, or after the Arabians, but Tennessee Walker, you could drink a glass of tea on its back if they're that smooth.
Do you still ride?
Yeah, I love to ride. We did my 72nd birthday. A bunch of us women. I bought everybody a ride to go up the mountain.
Here?
Yeah, here. Yeah, with Wes. We had a great time. We did that for my 60th. We went to Blue Lake and spent just women. Even the outfitters were women. So we didn't take, the men went and put up our tents, but even the women, the outfitters that took us were women.
How fun.
We had a blast.
That's cool.
Sitting around the fire and telling not truthful stories.
Okay, I want to circle back to a couple things.
Good.
Your time with the Wild Turkey Federation, the rumor that I heard was you have competed in turkey calling competitions.
Yeah, I sure have.
Just
Yeah.
mouth calling. Is that
no,
true?
No. I box call more than
Box call.
Yes, or a slate.
Explain the difference.
A box call is one that you do this way with, cluck, or
Where it's
whatever.
like a little wooden box
square.
with a
They're long and skinny.
thing that pivots on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you chalk them and you can do any kind of call. You can gobble with them. You can do anything. I said, I don't have to put that thing in my mouth. You actually can gobble. You put a rubber band around them and shake them like that, and you can gobble
I
with
didn't
them.
know that.
You sure can. And a slate is what I won the contest on. You can purr and just make a real soft little call.
Explain a slate. I think I know what you're talking about. But explain
It's
it.
actually slate on one side, but you've got a hard plastic sometimes on the other side, and it's got an oval shape in the center of it so that you can do around that slate to get your different calls. And you can make any sound that a turkey on a slate call better than a box.
Huh.
And it's a proud moment to be able to do that. I even beat Carla.
And you won a competition doing it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When I worked we did turkey shoots. We would do governor's shoots for, it was always odd for them to see the look on their face when they saw the champion one time. It's the short little redhead girl that's going to, and I'd rather shoot a shotgun than a rifle.
Do you still hunt turkeys?
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Every year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it said that we are living in the good old days of turkey hunting in the United States.
It's exactly what it is,
Yeah.
too.
That-
Because everybody's going back to, everything's going back natural. Like people going back to recurves or to longbows or muzzle loaders. And there again, I believe it goes back to God's plan for people is to go back to natural things and live off the land, worship God, be nice to people. And I think we're going back to some of it.
Yeah.
I am not saying it's the end of days because we don't know, won't ever know.
Yeah.
But I think we're going back to it. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's moving back to the country. I was raised in the country, but spent most of my young adult life in and around city, and then moving back to the country and buying property and sort of looking at a farming operation through a different lens as an owner than you would when you're a kid just throwing hay bales. I was real particular about, I didn't want to do a cattle operation if it wasn't something I was actually natively interested in. I don't like to do things that I'm forcing
you're really
myself
tied
to do.
down to it too when you do
You're
cattle.
really tied down to it. But the regenerative principle, learning the regenerative principles from some cattlemen that do what's called rotational grazing. Are you familiar with this concept at all? It's what you're talking about,
Yeah.
where it's meant to emulate the way that God created the ecosystem to work.
There you go.
And that the moment human beings put up fencing, it wasn't able to work the way that it was designed to work. And so you have to go through and move the animals yourself in order to emulate what...
We're our own worst enemy sometimes when it comes to
Sometimes.
rules that we make for people like Richard's folks. All they did was can. They did their own garden. They had chickens. They did all of that. Richard will never have a chicken, but they did all that. And that's how they were raised. They were faithful. They went to church. It was just done. And I think we had a different. That's why the older people, we need to listen to everything they got to say, Tanner.
Yeah.
Because that, like you with RV, going to see him, just keep it up, because he won't be there one day.
It's precious time.
And
every time I go, there's something going on either in my personal life or my work life that I'm like, man, this is not a good time for me to go spend 2 days, with my phone off. And every time I get there, there's something I come away with like, God, I'm so glad
Aren't you
I
glad?
went.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I went.
Well,
I
and
missed it.
losing Mom, I still wished I could call and tell her, oh, I've got a hummingbird, or how do I fix this recipe, or what.
Yeah.
And you'll do that with RV, same way. You're going to be sorry one day that when he's gone that you can't go and do it.
I do it with B now.
Oh, I bet.
I think about B all the time, but especially around the holidays, around my birthday and
my
Christmas
gosh,
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When is your birthday?
My birthday's in December.
December
10th.
10th. Richard's is the 28th.
Yeah.
But your mom, grandmother, she was amazing. I could just sit and listen to her. Everybody did.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to just hear her.
Yeah.
And she would sing. Sometimes she would actually get up and sing a solo.
Pretty incredible singer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever heard Robin Ford sing?
No.
She's just the same way.
Really?
It's amazing. Can you imagine if they were there together with Lucy Dean?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, that would be. I don't ever remember hearing that, but I can remember having Lucy Dean with your grandmother.
Lucy Dean's still around, is she not?
Yes, she is. She's 102.
She's 102?
Yeah.
No way. I didn't know that.
They'd had a big party for 100 people from all over here.
Wow.
Went to that birthday
She's
party.
in Lubbock. Is that right?
Is it Lubbock or no, I guess it is
Lockney.
Lockney.
Outside
Lockney.
it's around Lubbock, right?
Yes, yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, she's there she's actually in a home.
Okay.
Which is probably a good thing because she's had some falls and stuff. She still plays.
Does she really?
She still plays.
Oh, that's incredible.
I can't imagine.
She's on my wish list of people that I'd like to sit down and do this with.
She would absolutely adore for you to go.
You think?
She still posts on Facebook.
Does she?
You could accept her or invite her or what? Yeah, she still does Facebook.
Okay.
Still.
Do you have ways to get in contact with her? Do you have a phone number for her? Or you always go through Facebook?
I see her and I talk with her on Facebook.
Okay.
But I think you could invite her from Facebook and tell her who you are. I don't think it would be an issue. It's Lucy Dean Record.
Yeah.
But if you don't, Jerry, since they put her in that in the place or had to, I don't know if Jerry's got that number or not.
I'll ask him.
Because she sold the cabin to some wonderful people that have been coming here for 30 years. You'll love them if you get to meet them. They're the Paynes. They've had to take the cabin to the ground, though. They were trying to save some of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had actually added on to Lucy Dean's cabin a couple sides, and they didn't put anything between the wall. They took 5-gallon buckets of mice out of the wall.
Oh, no.
So they had to take down all the walls.
Just took it down to the
They kept a piano.
foundation.
They were able to keep the. Yeah, they had to take.
They kept the piano?
Yeah, they kept the piano. They do have her piano though, so which is a good thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. But
Somewhere my mom has a recording of me when I think I was probably 6 to 8 maybe, singing There's Something About a Mountain in that cabin when the church used to be held in
yeah,
her
we used to
cabin.
go up there. We sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had church up there. She was talking about us. We're been doing church in the firehouse.
Right.
We've had our last service, and Lucy Dean said she mentioned that on Facebook about how they did it up there, and hope that we still keep going, and we will.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt that we'll always have a church.
It's
service.
bigger every year we come up here.
Yeah, it was huge Sunday.
Was it?
Virgil had to take pictures. He got Virgil Van Dusen. Have you met him?
Mm-hmm.
He is another. Did you know he's a professor? He's also an attorney, and he's a pharmacist.
I didn't know that.
He is a smart,
well-traveled man.
Yes, he is, and it's funny as you could ever get. He's hilarious. He gives trophies out. So at all of our little get-togethers this year and last year, he goes to the garage sales, I guess, because they're all used. trophies, and you might get a trophy for being the best this or the best that. He has a blast with it.
That's great. Gives trophies.
He gives trophies out, and he can sing like an angel too. I sat beside him Sunday morning. He can sing.
The church on the mountain will always be my favorite church.
Yeah, it is. My church at home, we only meet every 2 weeks, and I've got to find a different place because it's not fun. I love to sing, so for me, not singing is weird.
Yeah. Were you raised in church?
Always.
You were?
Yeah. Well, I take that back. When my father left, Mother took us to church, and we started out as Methodist and ended up Southern Baptist.
Okay.
But we were young, very young, when Daddy left.
How old were you?
Oh, probably 6 or 7.
Were you really?
Oh, yeah, and Mama would try to take us to church, but Daddy didn't have the mindset. So, anyway, we've always been, and Mother and I always sang in the choir right beside each other.
Can I ask you questions about that?
Yeah.
When did your faith become your own? You were raised in church.
I did, and I accepted Christ through Vacation Bible School, like a whole bunch of them do.
Oh, yeah.
Well, guess what? That doesn't sometimes last.
It doesn't?
No, it really doesn't. You've got to have an actual experience with God to do that. And I went to El Salvador on a mission trip, which was absolutely amazing. And when I saw those people in the mud, in their little hutches, with like 10 people with one Bible in their hand, I knew that, I was a good person. Went to church all the time. Well, what that doesn't mean anything. You know, as a secretary treasurer at the church, blah, 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 sang the choir. But when I saw those people around one Bible that was so worn, they were dirty people. They were in the barrios.
How old were you?
Oh, gosh, 21, maybe a little older.
Yeah.
When I finally, this God stuff works.
Yeah.
So it did.
It means something different to you when you're an adult.
It does.
When you're raised in it, because I was raised in it too. Always Southern Baptist churches, Wednesday night youth group, Sunday morning, Sunday school, going to church, and then Mom taught art at a little Christian academy, so I always went to private schools, so always went to chapel. And when you're raised in it and you're a kid and you don't really know any better, there is a point when you reach adulthood that you go, okay, none of this is my own. This isn't a relationship that I have with a higher power. This is a thing that I've just done my entire life, which is a really disruptive thing to go through as an adult.
It is.
And I feel like I'm still going through it.
Preacher's kids talk about it often. But my brother one time said, you know what? This God stuff works. And that's when he became who he is. And it's just flourished, and it always will. Whenever you just got to have that relationship with God, not your best friend, and not your girlfriend, not your spouse. You just have. My spouse can't save me and put me in heaven, and I can't do that for Richard. But we're both believers, so.
When God speaks to you, what does it sound like?
Oh gosh,
Where do you hear God the most?
Here.
Here.
In
the mountains.
And when I'm singing, I used to sing in a called Rejoice. It was a group that we sang on a bunch of, and I'm a real low alto, so I never had to stand out. I never had to do the solos.
Yeah.
And music touches me more. Good sermons do too, because Danny is an unbelievable preacher.
He is a good preacher.
Oh gosh, he's good.
Yeah.
But music always seemed to touch me more, and I don't know why, but it did. So I've got a feeling that's what heaven will be like. I'll just get up there and just sing.
Yeah.
I bet Billy sang a lot of hymns.
Yeah. That's the church I was raised in, was on the east side of Austin, which this is like Kramer Lane. It's in an area of town that's, I'll have to let that phone ring. It's in an area of town where the church was probably half black and then probably a quarter Hispanic and a quarter white.
Oh, that's tough.
And the choir was epic.
I bet.
I can remember
gosh,
big
I bet.
choir productions, and
Yeah.
the music does something for me too. That's different.
You need to listen to who that is.
Most of the calls we get here are Forest Service calling with an update.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that's a good thing.
Nobody there.
And,
That'll be audio in the background for people to hear.
no one's home.
Yeah.
I'm glad music touches. Do you remember the movement Up with People?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it was in Kansas, and it was it was hundreds of kids back then, like 20 in their 20s, and we would sing Up with People. You meet them wherever you go. It was we traveled all over the United States with this group that we had uniforms. We had to all wear the same thing. It was really pretty cool, and it never got big, but it was helpful for me. Everybody needs some music in their life, and then good music.
Yeah. Is there when you're praying and you feel like you get a word from God, have you ever heard God audibly?
No.
Me either.
No, just a spirit.
Yeah. What does it sound like to you? Like, how do you recognize, that's God speaking?
Oh, it's like a slap on the back of my head. I'm a little on the stubborn side sometimes. It's because I used to teach Sunday school to senior adult women. The hardest teaching you could ever do in your life is to senior adult women or children. And with those women, God, sometimes my patience got a little, these were all women with, like 80 and above, and they were set in their religion. And sometimes God would have to just slap me up the back of the head. Listen, Becky, listen, because they got more to tell you than you know.
Yeah.
And that I don't know. I like the way God talks to me because I'm not an easy person. I'm a very, not really opinionated, but I don't like junk. I don't, my filter's gone. And I don't know if it's age that did that, but my filter is gone.
Yeah.
And I pretty much tell people if I disagree.
Yeah. It's the last 3 days, that was part of the intention of coming up here, was to have just some space, to have some stillness,
It's nice.
And I have a good friend who's the pastor of the church that we go to. He's a younger guy, and got to know him outside of the church context just as a man, and I appreciate him quite a bit. And he wrote me a curriculum for a sort of a spiritual grounding while I'm here, and I've got stillness, and that's been my sort of constant prayer the last 3 days, has been definitive, wanting to hear from God definitively, where I know that's what I'm hearing.
Have you? How does he speak to you?
I haven't. It hasn't. Well, I won't say that he hasn't ever spoken to me, because I can tell you stories of pivots that I've taken in my life where it had to have been by design. I have no shortage of those.
Yeah, there's no.
But I always see them in hindsight. That's typically what I find is I'll look in hindsight and I'll see us being in Smithville, for example. Like the things that had to happen in our life for that to be where we ended up seems unlikely that it was just by happenstance. Starting a business the way that we did, same kind of deal. But I don't have experiences where I recognize in the moment that's God talking to me.
We did in El Salvador.
I long for it.
Maybe that would be a way to reach it. I don't know. But when we actually would go through, back then, that was when the president's daughter, way back then, had been kidnapped. And we would go one way we would canvass the city and invite people to see this movie called The Grand Paguta, The Big Question, at nighttime. And then they had churches. We actually had churches there, so the people weren't left alone. They actually were able to go. But we would go one way to go to canvass an area, and coming back, there'd be people with guns, and the road would be shut off. We were never scared. How does that happen?
Yeah.
There were men up on top. We stayed in a motel. It cost $40 for 2 weeks, American money. But there'd be gunmen on top of the roofs, and we just kept right on going and did. So he has spoke to me that way because we didn't care.
Yeah,
we just kept going.
Yeah.
So that was the strongest I think I ever felt, was when we did a mission trip, because it was it's eye opening, because those people are poor.
Yeah.
Like I told you, 10 people with one Bible. We don't. how many Bibles do you have? I've
Yeah.
got like 15. I was a teacher.
Several I can see in this cabin from where I'm
Yeah,
sitting.
mine are right by the TV. So when they come to play poker, the Bible's right there.
Yeah.
The 45's by the door, and the
Bible's by
and
the
the
TV.
Bible's stuck by
Yeah.
the TV.
Yeah, like I said, I long for it. I really do. I long for definitive messages from God that are unmistakable. It's a desire that I have.
Maybe when your children get older too, Tanner. Sometimes that can trigger that.
I will say that I'm even though I was raised in that context, I'm really coming to it as an adult, as a almost 40-year-old man, and developing my own relationship with God that I just when you're raised in it, it's just different, you know.
Well, we did. Like I told you, Mama took us when the minute Daddy left. We were in church, so we've had it all our lives. You have also,
Yeah.
But sometimes it doesn't get through here. Maybe I don't know. But you were never a bad person. I've never been a bad person.
Yeah.
But I wasn't maybe as faithful. I guess sometimes it's easy on Sunday morning to just not go.
Yeah.
You can watch it on TV.
Like I said, I can see the hand of God in my life just in certain circumstances, big circumstances that I realize in hindsight. The experience in the moment is not something I can really point to, though most of the men that I respect that have a deep faith have kind of a similar story. Like some of them can point to some times when they felt like they heard a direct message, and I don't want to fool myself into thinking, oh, was that God that was talking, or was it just me,
Well,
making up
El
something?
Salvador was cool because we had Bibles, and half of it was in English and the other half was in Spanish, so we could actually communicate with the people. And all the women there are as short as I am, so it was glorious. It was wonderful to have somebody I could look eye to eye and just talk a normal talk.
How tall are you?
Not even 5 foot.
You're not 5 foot.
4'11" and a half.
Is that right?
Yeah, I can't get that, and I've never been 5 foot.
Okay.
So, my mother was only 5'2". So we were all. Carl's a short man, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a trip you can make sometime with your church. I don't know if your church does those things, or not all churches do them. But the church actually sponsored it. We raised money, but they actually paid for it, and it cost a ton of money to get there and go through Belize. But our room bill with food was $40, and
For 2 weeks.
yes,
That's incredible.
they did your laundry, and the best ice cream you've ever had in your life.
No kidding.
Yeah, but you could buy a bottle of liquor. You could buy a Coke in a Scotch bottle in the grocery store, and you could buy any drug that you wanted at the grocery store over the counter.
Huh.
I mean, major drugs. It was a different world.
Different place.
They had a center of the town, and the people that needed work would go there with the belts on if they were a carpenter, a plumber, or whatever, and they would just wait for somebody to come and hire them. Poor people.
Yeah.
There was no middle. There's a rich to El Salvador and a poor, very poor, and the Baptist church actually had a bookstore in the barrio part of this. They couldn't talk to the people about God. They just could have the bookstore. Now, I don't know if they changed their tune if people came in and asked them. I don't know that. But you technically were not even supposed to. We could because of the way we went. But the people that actually had a church or a business there couldn't talk about the Word of God. But you saw people in the alleys peeing, going to the bathroom, and drinking, and at 8 o'clock in the morning. And they were so accepting of what we had to tell them. The big question. It was that was where my heart really changed it. And I love people.
Yeah.
I always have, but I've got a big mouth and I talk a lot. But it was I'll never denounce. Better not say that either. You don't ever need to say that. But I hope I don't ever be afraid to tell about my faith.
Yeah. You know where your foundation is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty hung.
I probably know the answer to this question. It's the only question I ask people consistently when I'm recording. But we talked a little bit before we were recording about the Charlie Kirk assassination. and the news cycle that is constantly churning through stories of how messed up things are and how bad things are getting, and it's very easy to get caught in that momentum and to get really pessimistic about the future. Are you pessimistic?
No.
Are you optimistic?
I'm very optimistic.
Tell me why.
Trump needs to shut his mouth.
Okay.
But he's on the track. I think he had an experience of his because of 2 assassin attempts, and he does have the people. I really think he cares for us. I really think he cares what happens to the American people. Yes, he has lots of money and he's done lots of things, but I think he really cares. But he just needs to shut up his mouth just a little bit.
Yeah.
But right now, I think he's on the track.
What makes you optimistic about the future? Outside of politics, just in general, and what you see in the world. What gives you what's
the
your
Charlie
source?
Kirk thing? Me watching a TV of a 5 or 6 hour thing about God and his life and stuff. As much as I love God, I wasn't going to sit there and watch that and I couldn't get my eyes off it.
Yeah.
But it was our leaders that started professing their faith. Now, maybe that won't last, and maybe we'll never hear it out of their mouths again, but all of our top officials started talking about their faith and seeing a difference. It's got to start there, or we can't. Well, God can change all this, as He can, but He does give us that will, that free will, to make the change, and it starts at the top when they start. Trump even has. I didn't like that he still hates the man that killed Charlie Kirk when his wife still forgave the guy, but he'll get it, I think, and I think he's gotten it some. So I am optimistic.
You would have been hard pressed to watch that service and hear Erica Kirk speak and not come away optimistic.
And it's growing. It's not going away. They think that they've stopped this, and they did not. Not that he needs to be put on a pedestal. Not that I guess he is a martyr. But just live your life like maybe he did. Mm-hmm. You don't have to get out and preach to the world. You want to be preached to when you come into the Rocky Mountain Lodge store? No. You want to come in and start fishing and what's happening, where are you going to fish at, what are the kids going to do? But you need a safe, knowing place where you can come in and know that you're not threatened as a person. I don't know if we have atheists that walk in, but I bet we do, because you can smell it and hear it in their voice. But
in 40 years of knowing you, I never knew of your faith. But,
see?
But if you would have asked me, if somebody would have asked me, I would have predicted it.
Well, I've tried. We all fall short.
I have. There's some people that have a distaste for this quote, but to me, it was my sort of pivot back to my own faith, and it was St. Francis of Assisi who said that at all times you should be preaching the gospel, but only when absolutely necessary should you use words.
Your life.
And I think that's great.
Yeah, it is. Your life needs to. You can say all that your words can just jibber, jabber, like you've said, you've heard. But I've had a lot. Like I told you, senior adult ladies and children, and they watch everything you do.
Yeah.
But it's not a fake life. It's in my heart because I have that love. But I don't have that love just because I'm Becky. I have it because God put that there.
Yeah.
Senior adult women, that's little kids. That's hard.
Yeah.
But not when you have somebody on your shoulder.
Yeah. Miss Becky, I appreciate you being willing to do this. I kind of threw it at you yesterday, and I didn't think you'd agree to it.
If you'd probably told me the whole story, maybe not. But actually, I've enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I don't get to tell why I'm here. I don't want to hear that. When people come in, I want to see what they're doing and where they want to go and what they love. But it's nice to be asked why. It really is, because this is, oh my gosh, I've had a wonderful life, Tanner. I've done wonderful things. I've had opportunities. I used to fly all over the United States to Turkey. It just don't get much better than that.
Yeah. Well, like I said before, this place is as much home to me as Texas is, because it's really the place from my childhood that remains intact. But
I hope it keeps that way too. The kids get older, and they are going to be
do.
playing ball, and
they have their own experiences of the canyon and the cabin and all that. But
Yeah.
it will be hard for me walking in that lodge next year and not seeing Miss Becky
well,
there to
thank
greet
you.
us.
It's going to be hard not to see. Believe it or not, at home I don't really have any friends. That my grandchildren are there, and Richard's daughter, and so I have that. But as far as calling a woman to go, there's nobody.
Well, you're not there long enough.
I'm
to
not there,
have
and
those
it's in the
friendships.
winter, so
Yeah.
it'll be nice to go back to some of my friends and see
Yeah.
if I can rekindle. Because we always met once a week or once a month and did things and shopped and all those things that I really don't. I actually am not a shopper, but I would go.
Well, but you've got a year ahead of you now where you know
Yeah.
where you'll be and you can.
I want to take care of Richard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you again
You're
very much
welcome.
for doing this. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the role you've played in my life every summer up here. It's been
Not been much, but we
good
will
knowing
keep
you.
going.
Yeah. Thank you very
and
much.
I love you.
I love you too, Miss Becky. Thank you.